Hello and welcome to Minor Rex. I'm Charlie, and today I'm joined by Angie, Nina, and Maureen as we discuss the author Colleen Hoover, as well as the next generation of readers who are posting on TikTok under the hashtag BookTok, and that's BookTok, as in TikTok, not like a book talk. Although it seems like there is some similarity between BookTok and traditional reader's advisory. So are any of you active on BookTok, either as a poster or as a viewer?
I would definitely say that I get a lot of people that are recommending books. I've seen a couple come up, like obviously Colleen Hoover was one of the biggest ones that started, I think, BookTok, but I see a lot of Credence. I've heard a lot of good things about that book. Atlas of the Heart, like so many good books coming up, but I mean, I love it. I love seeing how people like books and what books they like and what their opinions are on them.
Yeah, it's sort of trending on any platform that you go to, because obviously there's big book communities on Twitter and Instagram and a lot of the other social media things. But it really seems like the TikTok community banded together, and it seems to have happened during the early pandemic 2020 period when libraries were all closed, and so there was sort of a vacuum in this sort of person-to-person recommending books. And so I think my theory is sort of that's probably the vacuum that BookTok filled, the need that people have to discover new, exciting things to read.
I'm not a poster on the BookTok, but I definitely keep tabs on it by watching some of the videos. And it's interesting to see who is actually popular on BookTok at any given point in time.
Do you find authors kind of fall in and out of favor?
There's some I think that have been steady. One good example is Madeline Miller, who wrote The Song of Achilles, and that book is from 2011. And that book still gets a lot of buzz, and it's recommended in a ton of different BookTok videos.
Okay.
So I think it's a good example of long-term staying power for certain authors. And then Colleen Hoover is another example of someone who has longer-term, I think, appeal. But then you also get to see a lot of new authors that probably don't have as much press. That's always fun and exciting.
Yeah.
I was going to say I've definitely seen people come from step one of trying to get themselves published from going viral. I mean, there's Lightlark. I forgot the author's name, but she became sensational, and she's even has a movie deal and everything. And that was her first book ever.
Yeah.
Another one that, besides the Achilles book, there's A Court of Thorns and Roses that came out when I was I think a freshman in high school. So that one, I mean, it's crazy to see a book that's come out such a long time ago and then see it everywhere and viral, and now possibly becoming a film, TV show. It's crazy.
There does seem to be sort of a common sort of transition that the authors make from self-publication. A lot of them start publishing their own books digitally, and then as they get a little bit more of a buzz online, then big publishing houses like Simon & Schuster's will give them a deal and publish them at paperback, and then of course after that, then it's sort of an easy journey to getting a TV or a movie adaptation, which seems to be the status of a lot of these books currently.
Yeah, because I know Daisy Jones and the Six, that is being adapted into a series.
Yeah, I think that one
it already came out, and it was wonderful, just to let everybody know.
Is that one on
I told
Netflix?
Angie about it. Yeah. No, it's on Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime, gotcha.
Yeah, and it was really good. I really liked it. But yeah, I think your book has really made it, I feel, when it's become a movie or TV show. I feel a lot of people take a lot of pride in that, my book's becoming a movie, and it's
right.
crazy, seeing it come to life. I'm sure is such a rewarding experience.
Do you think that those adaptations point people back to the original books, or do they sort of become a replacement for those books?
I think it's more so if they hear that a movie or a show comes out, I think if they haven't watched the show yet, much less read the book, the first thing they do is start reading the book. They hurry up and start reading the book. So let me hurry up and read this book first so they can compare it to what they watched. That's what I've noticed that happens more often.
Yeah, even if it's a faithful adaptation, then they're going to end up cutting something. And so, just doing the comparison raises the awareness of the original book.
I was going to say, I think it depends on, the person as well and whether they're interested in reading. people don't realize how many movies and TV shows actually come from, like, books.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, a lot of people just don't know about it. And then once they do hear, like, oh, it's a book, like, that's crazy. Like, it started as a book.
I guess to bring it to Colleen Hoover, I hear that It Ends With Us, her sort of breakthrough book, has just been, or is soon to be released as a movie starring Blake Lively.
I love her.
I love
Gossip
Blake Lively.
Girl.
I love Blake Lively, too. Unfortunately, there's a lot of controversy over selecting her. A lot of people were saying that the age wasn't, like, the same as, like, the book. I think, like, the character's, like, in her, like, 20s or something. I'm not really 100% positive, but also about how, like, they should have given a fresh face to, like, the movie, like, so that someone else has an opportunity to make their way into, like, the movie industry. But I think there's, in general, there's just, like, a bunch of controversy around, like, the film in general.
But if she's really going to be the lead, though, this is now, like, the third time Blake Lively has done, like, I think a book adaptation to, like, some type of screen, because she was in Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, then Gossip Girl, then Gone Girl. So this is her fourth one now. So I think that's interesting, too, because I don't know of many others besides, like, anyone who was in Harry Potter that had, like, different books that they were, like, leads in.
Well, I think Colleen Hoover actually, like, said that, like, Blake Lively was, like, her dream person to play Lily. So, I mean, it's her book, so I'm like, she can do it. She should have whoever she wants, especially if that person is willing to do it.
Yeah. So I will say I haven't actually read any Colleen Hoover books, but I have spent some time exploring the Colleen Hoover hashtag on BookTok, you know, just sort of scrolling through it and seeing people's hot takes, what people have to say about her books, and, like, what's really sort of making her popular. I mean, she is so popular that she's often shortened to just Coho, because, of course, TikTok has, you know, pretty strict character limits in its captions, so, you know, space is at a premium. But, yeah, Coho seems to have just a lot of videos on the theme of the amount of, like, emotional damage that she causes to her readers. A fair amount of them actually reported some physiological symptoms to finishing one of her books. Like, you know, I was sick for a week after I finished Verity, or something like that. That's probably...
I didn't hear anything like that.
and this is just from, you know, idly scrolling a hashtag. But
Yeah.
I have to say it sort of put me off because, you know, I think I've got a pretty strong constitution, but a couple of weeks ago, I actually passed out while watching the latest season of Call the Midwife. So now I'm
Well, that's different, I feel like.
I haven't seen that.
I feel like that's very different, because I think the other thing, too, people forget is that Colleen Hoover has a range of different books that she's written. So some of them are, like, the more of, like, the twisted thrillers, like Verity, for example. I read that one. I could see why someone would be sick after or during reading it. I, too, was kind of like... So, how was the state of the world after I was done reading this? I'm like, how is everyone doing? Because I have some questions.
Right.
But she really writes, like, she's written other things I would say are more like rom-coms.
Okay.
In an odd way. Like, she has a range of things that she writes about.
Okay.
But I think what's gotten the most buzz has been some of her more, like, gory or were, like, violent or had, like, odd, like, twists and turns to them, because that makes for, like, good publicity.
Sure.
Yeah, Verity. I read Verity also, and that book, you know, is definitely creepy. It's unsettling. It's sinister, and it's mind-bending to the point that by the time I finished reading it, I wasn't sure if I should be team manuscript or team letter. For those that read, you know, like you read it, you understand what I'm talking about. Like some people, you know, they believe the manuscript. Some people, they believe the letter, you know, that was written. So it really depends on which, I don't know for you, like if you believe the letter, Maureen.
I honestly didn't believe either one of them, because this was my problem, which is no spoilers at all, was I felt like there was one twist too many at the end, and I didn't believe it, and I wasn't a fan. I was like, okay, can we just get through the last 50 pages? This has been a book. There's been a lot of interesting things, I guess, if you want to call them interesting. And yeah, so I was like, I didn't believe either one. I wasn't that invested, I guess. But I was also just like, ugh, by the time I got to that part.
Towards the end, I was also like, I just want to get through this book just to say that I finished it. And, but yeah, I mean, Verity was good. It captures, like, everything that you would expect an author to do to, like, get the attention of the reader. Like, the beginning of the book is pretty, like, crazy, I would say. I mean, someone gets, like, killed in, like, the first, like, 5 pages or something. spoiler alert, it's not a big main character, but I mean, it's definitely like how to write a book. Like that's, I feel like Verity follows that like step by step.
Like, but is that how you write a book? Do you just like get a random book deal and then like go live in some guy's mansion? Like,
I mean, for some people, they just like eat it up. Like, I know for me, I was just like, I don't even remember who the main character's name was. Like, the thing with Verity that I couldn't, and not as much with It Ends With Us, I kind of liked It Ends With Us more than Verity, but the characters, I just didn't really feel like I knew them. Like, I was more invested in the mystery as opposed to the characters, and for me, that's kind of like a big deal breaker when it comes to like a book. Like, if the characters aren't intriguing and I don't care about them, then I really don't care about the book at the end of the day.
I felt the way about Verity was, I felt like it was a very interestingly done Twilight fan fiction rewrite, because the guy is like, personality is just like, I'm broody and mysterious for no reason other than because I can be, and the main woman's like, wow, this guy's fantastic, I need to know him, and then the next thing you know, you're like, oh no, here we go again. But I'm wondering too if part of the appeal is because it's vaguely Twilight-ish. Like, was that part of the appeal, we think?
I think it follows, what's the word, trope, like that kind of trope.
Yeah.
You know? I guess that's what I mean by like how to write a book, like kind of follows like common tropes that like people like and that like people gravitate towards. And for some people that's like, I'm not going to read something like that. And for others it's like, give me that, I'm going to read it after work, like I'll finish it in a day type of, energy, Yeah.
I guess one of the things that like those effective authors at hooking you in do is they have effective opening lines. And I saw a couple videos that were pointing out Colleen Hoover is great with opening lines. Her opening lines tend to skew very visceral. Like,
what is it with Ends With Us? That's a very good point.
I mean, you have to feel something in order to like get hooked, I guess.
Should I read it?
Yeah, what's the first line in It Ends With Us?
As I sit here with one foot on either side of the ledge, looking down from 12 stories above the streets of Boston, I can't help but think about suicide.
All right. We've got a trigger warning in the very first line of the book. Like, another one I saw was, somebody stabbed you in the neck, young lady. That's one of the tamer opening lines. And it's like, it makes you want to read more, but it's also pretty gross.
I mean, I think it goes into like this... maybe like this generation more so than others, like they just need something that's going to get their attention like immediately because they lack the patience to wait for something to like build. It also depends on like how much time you have. Like to me, if I don't like a book after like 50 pages, like I've taught myself to like, hey, like you just need to put it down and go on to the next one because like realistically it's like I don't have too much time to read, so I really just want something intriguing. Yeah.
And her books, it seems like they all kind of start in the middle of the action.
Yeah. I mean, I personally didn't like Verity. I liked It Ends With Us a bit more.
Okay. And that seems to be the one that first took people's attention in BookTok and some of these other online communities. What is it about that book that grabs people?
It kind of creates like a conversation. In the book, like, there's an abusive relationship, and it's like really unexpected. Like, I didn't expect it. I kind of like knew something was bound to happen because, like whenever you read or watch a movie, like you expect like something to go on before it ends. I liked the book, and then I talked to someone about it, and they said that the problem that they had with it was that they felt like Ryle, who was her boyfriend, was romanticized a lot, and that it wasn't easy to dislike him. Like, Colleen Hoover made it easier to like him as a character, even though he was an abusive partner.
Yeah. And I guess you could say she's writing it with nuance, but it's also an easy path towards romanticizing or normalizing or glamorizing abusive relationships. And yeah, one of the videos that I saw pointed to the graphic design of the cover as something, like it's the marketing of the book as like a romance novel that earned a particularly strong reaction. Like, I think on the back cover, the tagline is, sometimes the one who loves you is the one who hurts you the most. I don't know if is it on that?
It is.
Okay. I guess there's nothing wrong with that phrase because it does kind of describe one of the themes of the book. But when you put it in the same font design as any number of straight romance novels, then it's going to land a certain way. It reminds me of the voice in romantic comedy trailers. romantic comedy trailer voice.
Yeah,
that guy can say anything, and as long as there's like smiling actors that you recognize and like a Motown song in the background, it's going to give you the feel good vibes. And so, if that voice says, "Sometimes the one who loves you," it just makes you feel creepy.
Yeah, I feel like that could also be like a line that they use to like promote vampire books. And it's not a vampire book though.
Right.
I guess that's not a spoiler. But it's odd, like I wonder if it's a thing, like, because that's like where I think that could have come from. Tropes from vampire stories sometimes get thrown around to the romance world. I'm like, do you know where this came from?
Well, isn't 50 Shades of Grey
That
adapted from Twilight fan fiction?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really? I didn't
Yes.
know that.
Probably some of the same accusations of normalizing abusive behavior can be leveled at Twilight and 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
Where clearly the relationships in those books are not healthy.
No.
And I remember when I did a book discussion last month, it wasn't Verity. It was a different book that I did, and they brought up Verity because they was comparing the book that I was discussing. And then they did mention that book, and that was one of the things that they said they didn't like about that book.
Sure. Yeah.
That's why they didn't like it.
Yeah.
I think it just really depends on who's reading it. So, different strokes for different folks, I guess.
Yeah. Different books for different readers.
I was going to say, I think I liked this book more than Verity, and just in general more than her other books, because it's more personal for her. I feel her parents were actually in an abusive relationship, and so I think she kind of, like, this book comments on how it's not as simple as just someone being a good or bad person, because it's called It Ends With Us. Spoiler alert, it's called It Ends With Us because she's actually makes the choice to end the cycle of like abuse, because she ends up having a child with her partner. And she tells him that she's not going to allow her daughter to keep going on like this cycle of abuse and toxicity. And because the character Lily, she was also like, her parents were also abusive, so she just chose to like end it there. I think it does comment on like how complex people are, and I mean, not to defend Ryle or anything or anybody like that's struggled in like an abusive relationship, but I really like the ending and how Colleen actually mentions how she ended up having a very good relationship with her father at the end of the day. Like, even though like she obviously had a lot of problems with him and forgiving him, especially for what he did to her mom, she ends up saying in the end that even though it was hard to forgive him, like, she's glad she did, and that she reminds him that there's always a chance for someone to change. Like, their worst moments don't define them if they don't let it define them.
Do you think that the characters are true to life?
That's what I liked about it.
Yeah.
I like when characters, like, that's why I feel like it lacked in Verity, was that I just didn't feel connected to the characters whatsoever.
Right.
They were just so unrealistic, and I think the story was just so unrealistic. This is a very realistic book. Like, things like this happen. I just thought it was a great read, and for someone that had never, like, seen abuse in that way, or, like, ever read about it, or seen it like in a movie, like, it was really eye-opening, and I think she did a wonderful job with putting herself into the book as well.
Yeah.
Not every abusive relationship is going to look the same, I think, is what this book comments on.
Okay.
It's not an easy topic to address, especially because I think people didn't really expect it whatsoever, because like you said, it kind of looks like romance, like just happy-go-lucky romance, no darkness in it. And I think people that, like, I know, like, my mom personally, she doesn't like anything dark when she reads. Like, she just wants something that's like happy, and that's it.
That is not Colleen Hoover for the most part.
Yeah, no.
And it seems not to be BookTok for the most part. It seems like that community does sort of gravitate towards books with some of these more upsetting topics.
I think there's definitely authors who don't fit that, and one of them I think of is Ashley Henning Blake. She writes romance books, and they're not like that. They're kind of like, happy-go-lucky type of things.
Yeah.
They make you feel good. They don't make you feel sad.
Right.
But I think she's kind of a little bit different in that regard.
I know you'd mentioned Frida McFadden earlier as another author who's sort of in this realm.
She's one of the self-published ones where she's not really... A lot of people haven't heard of her as much, but then as of late, she has been blowing up
Okay.
like crazy. Like The Housemaid, which is the book I did a book discussion on last month, and then she came out with a sequel
Okay.
called The Housemaid's Secret. I like The Housemaid better, but then people like Never Lie. She just published another book recently called Ward D or something. I mean, she just came out with like another book like very recently. So yeah, she is like hot.
Okay.
She's considered hot right now.
Yeah.
You know, another thriller. People like thrillers, you know, I highly recommend you read her. She's very good.
Do you tend to read these on an e-screen, or are you reading paper books? Or are you doing the audiobook route? What's your favorite way of reading some of these books?
I tend to go back and forth between the traditional paper and ebook. Like if I'm at home, I will read the paper. And then if I'm at work, I will switch to the ebook format, you know.
And just continue where you left off?
Correct,
Okay.
yes. And that'll help me get through it faster. But sometimes, unfortunately, if it's not an ebook version of it available, I would have to just stick with the paper.
Gotcha.
I don't do audiobooks often. My auditory skills are, no.
You get distracted.
I will be sitting there going, what did it say? I have to keep rewinding, you know, my ADHD. No, it just does not compute very easily for me. I'm like, okay, what? I got to keep rewinding it. No.
Right.
So I have to see it.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
I think for me it depends on like what it is, because the one book I really want to read is A Court of Thorn and Roses, but we only have it, you can get it through Hoover right now. That's kind of like the only way you can get that through us right now. But otherwise, I usually go between either a physical book or the ebook. But I'm not afraid to do like the audiobook, because then I just listen to that while I'm like driving to and from work or like running errands.
Okay.
You can borrow my copy.
Oh, there you go.
I actually have like the first edition of it.
Wow.
Yeah, you can definitely borrow it. I personally didn't enjoy the series. And I know that's like a huge book on BookTok, like a huge book. I just didn't end up finishing it. I got like through like the second half of the second book and I just couldn't do it.
Oh no.
The first book was very easy to read though.
Yeah.
But the second one for me, I was just like, I don't care about anybody
And
here.
this is a big series too. It's not like it's 3, it's like 6 books.
It's a lot, and that's why I feel like with series, it's a little bit hard. I don't think the second book it falls into like that pattern of, I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but sequels tend to be like the worst out of the series sometimes.
Yeah.
But this one was actually like the best one out of the series. A lot of people say, and I do see why. For me, it was just a bit too long. Like I think it's like 800 or more pages.
800 pages.
She just keeps repeating how cool everybody is, and I'm like, all right. I'm done with this. So, but you can definitely borrow it. I could finish like an 800-page book in like a couple days. I mean, if it's really like intriguing. But unfortunately, this book just wasn't it personally for me. I typically tend to read physical copies. I used to think that I wouldn't be able to handle audiobooks because I think I had the same like thought as you, Angie, that I wouldn't be able to like compute it properly like when I'm doing something, and I just keep like going back and forth rewinding it. But I actually really enjoy audiobooks now, and I think, like you said, Maureen, like it depends on like what I'm reading. Like sometimes, like if it's a little hard for me to get into a book, I'll give it a second chance by just listening to the audiobook while I'm doing like house chores. But I do prefer reading physical books. I can't do ebooks, like unless I have to for school because it's the cheaper option. Like my eyes start to hurt and I get like a headache, so I can't do ebooks. And plus, if I'm tired,
dark mode, so I don't get a headache.
Oh, yeah.
Like I turn on dark mode.
So white text on a black background?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, that does help.
Yeah.
I mean, unless I have to, like I'd rather not.
Yeah.
But
The other thing I'll do is if it's on Libby, I'll send the ebook to my Kindle, and then reading on that is no problem because it feels more like an
I should
actual
do that.
book.
I tried doing it on the computers here, like while we're at the desk, and I can't do it. I just like get tired. I'm like, no, I need to stay awake.
The only exception, very rare exception that I've done an audiobook is if it was like a nonfiction audiobook.
Yeah.
Because to me, it feels like I'm listening to like NPR.
Right.
Like the radio or something, which is a nonfiction source.
Like a podcast.
Technically. It'll be easier for me to focus for some reason. I don't know why.
I found a similar thing. Like I tend to read a lot of celebrity memoirs, and when they read their own memoir on an audiobook, I find it very easy to listen to because it's just like a personal narrative spoken by the person who it's happening to.
Exactly.
So it's more like a conversational thought. But yeah, sometimes I also tend to rewind 30 seconds and listen to what I just listened to because I was busy doing the dishes or something and my mind wandered.
I do that too. I kind of tell myself, I'm like, do you really need every detail though? Because you're going to forget it either way. So it's like, I feel like with some books, like if I don't care as much about the details, I'll just like listen to it. I'm like, don't rewind. Okay, like, you'll be fine. You know what's going on. You know the gist of it. Like, just relax and do the dishes.
But I'm not sure who 2 times speed audiobooks are for. You have to have a pretty chaotic brain to listen to it.
Have you tried it?
I've tried it, and I can't
Really?
understand any of it.
I can't do it. I'm like, nope.
Gibberish.
Yeah.
I actually tried it once, and then I was like, oh, I can't do this. But then I kept like going up gradually in the speed, and I was like, okay. I was like, this is not bad. And I did it in Spanish too.
Okay.
The fact that I could understand like what's going on, and I was like, that's pretty cool. But I would give it a shot because actually I think Ariana actually said that she can't listen to an audiobook unless it's a little bit sped up because I don't know why. I feel like it kind of processes, and for me personally, and maybe for her, it processes a bit more for me. Like I don't get as distracted for some reason.
Interesting.
I don't know. I can't tell you how my brain works.
Sometimes the book you're reading becomes your adversary if you're reading it for too long. One time I challenged myself to read Atlas Shrugged, and I started just hating it. But I just forced myself to finish it, and I finished it because I allowed myself to write rebuttals in the margins. Which, of course, makes it unresellable. But
Yes.
I've noticed on a lot of the BookTok videos that people will film themselves highlighting particular sections with a physical highlighter. And it seems like that's sort of like a tactile way of interacting with books that you sort of can't get when you're using an e-reader. And of course you shouldn't do if you have a library book.
No, you should not. We don't like that.
What I like about an ebook, and I wish I could get it more into them, is you can highlight because I do it all the time for school, and I like seeing like the notes I have as well in there. But I also love that you can like. I tend to like if I don't know a word, like I'll definitely like Google it, and I love that all I have to do in an ebook is just press that word, and like it'll tell me what it means. So I do love that.
Yeah.
Oh, do you guys ever read a book and then get so frustrated with the character that you just have to like put it down and then like think about what you would say to this character for like 15 minutes?
Sometimes.
I actually think out loud when I'm really thinking about that character. Like, you idiot. Why would you do that?
Just like in a movie, like I would need to process this.
I
I'm
need
like,
to pause this and yell at the screen for a while.
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
And yeah, it seems like a lot of the BookTok reaction videos are, I'm halfway through chapter 9 and I have some thoughts and I need to yell them at my phone.
Yeah. Yeah, I tend to do that a lot sometimes, especially if I can't handle it. I think like what kills it sometimes is like first person point of view. If you can't stand the character that's narrating it, it's a deal breaker sometimes because you're just like,
right, there's not an alternate perspective to be found.
Yeah, and that's crazy. Like I think, would you guys say first person point of view is the most common point of view?
First, and I think third is also getting there, but not as much as first.
When I was like growing up, when I started reading, I used to hate third person point of view.
Yeah.
And then I read a book that was like just like top notch third person point of view, and I was like, if every book was like this, like, because like it is crazy how common like first point of view is because you're only getting that person's side of the story. It's like your bias, and so is the person that you're reading.
The thing that could be kind of annoying about first person is, depending on the book, sometimes first person writes in past tense, and sometimes they write in present tense. Or some people write in present tense, and some will write in past tense.
Or both.
It can be really weird and annoying.
Yeah.
Whereas third person, they're more consistent in the tense that they write in. And of course, in third person, you get a more wider. The best third person writers, you get the thoughts of the character, and you get, of course, the scene of where this character is,
right,
and what's going on, and all that stuff. Some third person people that write in third person don't always give you that. That is a downside of third person sometimes. Not all of them do that, but some of the best ones do that. And that's what I like.
Yeah. The interiority of the characters.
Yes.
Yeah.
And those are some of the best ones.
I mean, there's different ways you can go about it. Like, it could be like an all-knowing perspective or like limited in knowledge. I was just reading about it for school. That's why I comment on it. But I think third person is like the best personally, especially like if you can execute it well. Like, it's just chef's kiss.
And sometimes first person, like one of my favorite authors, she writes in first person, but she has books where they have like more than one character. Each chapter has a different character, and it's always from their perspective.
I love that.
Those are my favorite first person writers when they do it like that, because you're getting it from each character's perspective. And, you know, you're getting their experience from their eyes instead of each chapter coming from just one character. You know, it can get kind of meh. Whereas, like you said, third person, you're getting, especially if they do the full thing, the full platter. You know, that's the best. Of course, that's optimal.
That's probably one of the reasons why I liked the book, The Atlas Six, so much. I know that's on BookTok a lot too, but they do like multiple perspectives throughout that book. And so you get to kind of get some idea of what most of the characters are thinking about at some point in time. And it's interesting because that's one where like they all have to pick one person to like no longer be in their group, and that person has to be murdered. So like, how do you come up with that idea? It's a magical society, so don't worry. But yeah, it's interesting, and how that all played out was really interesting.
Was it first person or third person?
That's the book you told me to read.
Yeah, I think that one was third person.
Yeah, I think I would like that, because that's also one of my favorite authors does that as well, where she'll like have it in third person, but have every chapter kind of like be about that character, their thoughts in their head, and like what they're thinking about, what the world around them looks like to them.
Yeah.
We've mentioned in BookTok how people use hashtags to sort of train the algorithm what they're interested in. I don't know how the TikTok algorithm actually works, and as I said before we started recording, TikTok sometimes makes me feel like I'm 70 years old, that I just...
Wait, how so?
I'm actually 35 years old, but when I open TikTok, I feel like I'm 70. There's slang that's going around that I haven't heard before.
Yeah.
There are, people talking about whole things that I have absolutely no frame of reference towards, and I find my hashtag, and I'm like, oh, I'm comfortable here. I'm comfortable on Golden Girls TikTok. I'm comfortable on cat TikTok.
Yeah. I know people have said, like, if you comment on videos, like, you'll get more, like, videos, like, about what you commented on.
Yeah.
So that's an option.
Yeah. But since it is sort of a discovery-based platform, I think the cool thing about BookTok is that the more you watch, the more it'll show you in your feed new authors that you maybe wouldn't have heard of other ways. And so, yeah, I think it's a really cool tool for discovering the next thing you're going to read.
Mm-hmm. I like seeing what other people are, like, reading and what's really popular. I mean, I think that's like really common. Like, you just want to know what's being talked about the most, what's the most popular. Like with the Oscars, like, we always have patrons come and check out whatever's being nominated that year. I think like that's always just nice to have like suggestions, because there's just an infinite amount of books to read. Mm-hmm. I mean, even working here, it's like you're just accumulate book after book after book. I have like 20 books at home. Mm-hmm. I'm like, how am I going to get through these? And then I like look on TikTok, and I'm like, even more books being suggested to me, and I'm putting them on hold, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, when is it going to end? Like, it's never going to end.
Well, hopefully not, because this is a lot of fun, you know.
Oh, it is. Oh, I love it. It's fun. It's just
like, we like this. For those of you playing along at home, we like this. We don't want it to end.
Oh, I love it. I'm just like, where's the time? I'm like, where's the time? I want more time to read all these books.
Yeah.
Which sort of goes back to why you were saying the Colleen Hoover books sort of grab you at the very beginning, because, who has time to get through 3 chapters of exposition? Like, start things where they get interesting and go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are there any other authors or books that you've sort of discovered digitally that have since become favorites or ones that you would recommend?
Olive E. Blake for me, because she wrote the Atlas Six. But I found that book on Libby because that book had really generous digital rights to it.
Okay.
So basically, she didn't care about like getting revenue from like the digital book. She just wanted it to be as available as possible. So the digital book came out on Libby like 6 months before the physical book was released.
Okay.
So there was a readership and there was a lot of excitement about it. And then I think that's part of why when the physical book came out, it was so successful. But also just because it's a really cool premise.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a book that I read. It was a sci-fi book called Burrowed by Mary Bader Cayley that you can get as an ebook.
Okay.
That's really good. So,
Daisy Jones and the Six, I've actually read it, and it's by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I personally love the book. And if you love music, I think you'll appreciate it even more so. Other books that have been really popular on BookTok is Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren, Shatter Me by Mafi Tahere. I'm not really sure how to pronounce the name. Stone Blind by Natalie Haynes. If you like mythology, like historical fiction, I think you could definitely get into that book. I actually am really excited to start reading that. Scythe, a YA book by Neil Schusterman, I heard is also amazing.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that one.
Yeah, I've checked it out. I'm excited to start reading that. The Inheritance Games, which is also like extremely popular by Jennifer Barnes, and I'm in the middle of reading it. If We Were Villains by ML Rio, and We Were Liars by E. Lockhart.
One that I read recently that I know is making the rounds on BookTok is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin.
Yes.
That was a good one. Also, Aristotle and Dante discovered the mysteries of the universe. That was a good one too.
And if you like dark academia, Babel, and The Secret History, I heard, are very good as well.
I was actually about to say tomorrow. You stole that thought right out of my head.
If you like video games,
Yeah, because I am a gamer.
yeah,
So
it has some Mario references in there.
Yeah.
It's very nostalgic, I would say. For like, if you grew up playing video games, it's definitely nostalgic and beautiful in that way.
because that is a book that I will be doing a book discussion on later on this year. That's why I was going to recommend it.
Oh, excellent.
I'm going to go to that, Angie.
I hope you guys come.
We'll be there with our talking points, and we'll be like, as discussed in our Book Talk podcast.
Yes, please come.
Do you know when it's
bring
gonna
your
be?
friends.
What is it going to be exactly?
I think it's going to be in November.
Oh, so we have time to prepare.
Yeah,
Oh,
mark
you
your
got plenty
calendars,
of
people.
time.
It is a longer book, so that gives you plenty of time to read it.
For sure.
And in the meantime, the Des Plaines Library is indeed on TikTok. If you open up your TikTok app and follow Des Plaines Library, you'll get to see all of our content. So yeah, do that. It's a good way to spend your time.
Woo woo.
And find out about programs we have going on.
Absolutely.
All of our wonderful programs.
Yes.
Well, thanks so much for listening. This has been Minor Rex. We will see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.